Ever feel that deja vu while watching an animated movie? Like you're pretty sure you've seen this before, but something seriously off. Yep, that's when you know you've landed in the world of knockoff animations. Here are some cheap knockoffs of famous animated movies. Starting at number 1, Nemo vs. the Reef. The Reef, released just a few years after Finding Nemo in 2006, it's a story about a little fish named Pi who's, you guessed it, on a journey under the sea. Pi moves to a new part of the ocean to start fresh after losing his parents. Sounds familiar? It should, because the Reef clearly takes inspiration from Nemo. But while Finding Nemo had heart, humor, and gorgeous visuals, The Reef feels more like a straight-to-DVD movie with clunky animation and a plot that's all over the place. In Finding Nemo, we have Nemo, a cute little clownfish with a unique personality. He's brave, curious, and wants to explore the world beyond his dad's watchful eye. In The Reef, our main fish Pi isn't even a clownfish, but he still checks up all the main character fish boxes. Brave, a bit naive, and ready for adventure. Then there's Marlin in Finding Nemo, the worried, overprotective dad. But in The Reef, Pi doesn't even have a dad around to protect him. Instead, he has Cordelia, a love interest who tries to help him stand up to the big bad bully shark. And speaking of sharks, Finding Nemo had Bruce, the friendly shark who tries to be nice, but still has that shark instinct. The Reef? Oh, it has Troy, a stereotypical villain shark who's basically Bruce if he never went to fish rehab. He's mean, one-dimensional, and honestly, not as fun to watch. Both movies have that classic underwater adventure vibe, but Finding Nemo and The Reef hit some suspiciously similar plot points. Finding Nemo starts with a tragedy. Nemo's mom and siblings are eaten by a predator, leaving Marlin to raise him alone. In The Reef, Pi's parents are also gone after a fishing accident, and he's left to navigate the ocean by himself. Then there's the main journey. Finding Nemo follows Marlin's quest to find his lost son, crossing the ocean and meeting all kinds of quirky sea creatures along the way. In The Reef, Pi moves to a new part of the ocean and has to learn how to defend himself while finding his place. He also encounters various colorful ocean characters, though they're nowhere near as memorable as Dory or Crush. In Finding Nemo, there's the epic fish tank escape and the touching reunion. In The Reef, we get a showdown with the shark bully where Pi has to stand up for himself and his friends. It's a classic David vs. Goliath ending that feels like it's trying to mimic Finding Nemo's heartwarming conclusion, but falls a little flat. So, is The Reef a fun knockoff of Finding Nemo, or is it just an underwater misadventure? While it doesn't reach the emotional depth or quality of Finding Nemo, it does have some quirky, unintentionally funny moments that make it a decent watch, especially if you're in the mood for something so bad it's good. The similarities are hard to ignore, whether it's the plot points, the characters, or the overall vibe. The Reef swims a little too close to Nemo's water. What's Up Balloon to the Rescue? Just a random movie about a grandma who decides, hey, why not tie a bunch of balloons to a basket and fly off with her 2 grandkids on an adventure? Sounds cute, right? Wait a second.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Does this remind you guys of anything? Balloons, grandma, adventure? Even the title What's Up has that up at the end. And like Up, the Pixar classic where a grumpy old man tries a balloon to his house and flies off to fulfill a lifelong dream, it's almost too similar. What's Up Balloon to the Rescue looks a little bit too much like Up. So, is it just a coincidence? Or did someone get a bit too carried away copying? You be the judge, but it definitely feels like a ripoff. Number 3. Ratatouille and Ratatouille. Both movies came out in 2007. Both are about rats who love fine dining. In Ratatouille, Remy, the rat, has a passion for French cuisine, risking it all in a Parisian restaurant. The animation is gorgeous and the story is heartfelt. It's Pixar at its best. Now Ratatouille? Not quite the same vibe. Here, we follow Marcel, our rat, running his own restaurant who sneaks into human kitchens for ingredients. The animation is, let's say, not up to Pixar standards. Imagine stiff CGI, choppy movements, and backgrounds that looked like they came from a 90s video game. Ratatouille didn't exactly try to hide its Ratatouille inspiration. It feels like more like they took Pixar's story, stripped away the budget, and left just enough resemblance to make it a mockbuster. Number 4. Happy Feet and Tappy Toes. This Happy Feet ripoff is insane. Tappy Toes really went there. It's a story about a young penguin who discovers he can dance, and that's supposed to make him feel special. Sounds familiar? Yeah, because it's almost a carbon copy of Happy Feet. Remember Mumble, the little penguin with the moves who danced its ways to acceptance? Well, Tappy Toes is basically that, but without the amazing animation, emotional depth, or honestly any of the charm. In Happy Feet, you get this beautiful, heartfelt story about being yourself and finding your place. Tappy Toes tries to capture the same magic on a smaller budget, but instead of an epic adventure, it feels like a rushed imitation. So, is it a coincidence or just a straight up ripoff? Let's just say Happy Feet walked so Tappy Toes could tap dance badly. Number 5. Madagascar vs. Life's a Jungle, Africa's Most Wanted. Okay, guys, before we get into this, seriously, who feeds a dog chocolate?
Oh, this is delightful.
Now, let's get into Life's a Jungle, Africa's Most Wanted, which is an obvious knockoff of Madagascar. But instead of a lion and his zoo friends trying to get back to New York, this movie stars a dog from a regular house who somehow ends in the jungle. The quality? Definitely not on the same level. The animation is super low budget, and the storyline feels like it's a bootleg copy with most of the same tropes from Madagascar. Guys, make this viral for the memes. And lastly, number 6. A Cars Life, Sparky's Big Adventure versus Cars. Okay, so there's this movie called A Cars Life, Sparky's Big Adventure. It follows Sparky, a young car with dreams of being a racing legend, and he embarks on an adventure to prove himself. The story seems fun and all, but wait, I just remembered something. Doesn't this sound familiar? Oh yeah, it's Cars, the Pixar film. The whole vibe, the small town car trying to break into the big league. Cars was released in 2006, while A Cars Life, Sparky's Big Adventure came out in 2008. So, Cars definitely came first, and it seems Sparky was created as a knockoff, trying to capitalize on the success of Pixar's hit. The stories are strikingly similar, while both focusing on a race car trying to prove itself. But Sparky's Big Adventure lacks the same quality and depth. And that's a wrap on some of the most shameless knockoffs of famous animated movies. Whether it's the story, the characters, or the animation, these films may try to copy the magic of their big budget cousins, but they always end up failing short. So, which knockoff was your favorite? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. And we'll see you in the next video.